Welcome to Ultimate Parks International in Manotick Station, just south of the nation's capital. This is the No Borders Ultimate Tournament, and it is a good one. This is the mixed final between Chaos in blue out of southwestern Ontario and Anchor from Halifax in white. They've traveled a long way to work their way into the final. Hi, everybody. Dan Mooney alongside Terry Lynn Belanger. And Terry Lynn, these are two really, really good Ultimate teams that have traveled to this tournament because this tournament is a destination on the Ultimate calendar.
Absolutely, and especially this year with it being a World's qualifying year, this tournament has even more importance for these teams who are going to be looking to head to Nationals, and likely this is the last time they'll be able to see some of these teams before they meet them at Nationals in August.
Now, this is Chaos from southwestern Ontario, but they're a conglomeration of players from all over southwestern Ontario.
They are. They have players from Hamilton, from London, from Kitchener, from Guelph. So they really are a team that represents the west of Toronto and are pretty proud of being from that region.
And Anchor from Halifax has a smaller roster. Now, we're playing mixed, and there's a rather interesting rule within this mixed category as far as male-female ratios.
There is. This is the first year that it's actually being implemented across the board in Canada, where we are going by Rule A, which means that the first team will be played by a 4-3 gender ratio. So if it's 4 women and 3 men that are played for the first point, the following 2 points will be played by the opposite gender ratio, and every 2 points will flip back and forth from there. So really, it is about equal playing time for both men and women now in the mixed division.
Yeah, it really is an equitable solution. These games will be 2:15, but there is a hard cap of 80 minutes for the final, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, 80 minutes is the maximum. Once they get to that point, if the game isn't decided, it will be decided on that point. It'll kind of be an ultimate point.
That's always the hope, is that we have a tie game when that horn goes and the next point wins. It makes for some pretty exciting ultimate.
It's like ball hockey when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Next goal wins. Lots of offense from both of these teams expected this afternoon. They move the disc around well, and I don't know how these players have been able to go through just this absolutely excruciating heat. 47 degrees yesterday with the Humidex, and these teams played 4 games.
That is correct. It has been excruciatingly hot here this weekend, and probably some of the hottest weather I've ever had to play Ultimate in or watch Ultimate in. And these teams are just amazing athletes that they're able to power through that and still come back for day 2. It is cooler today, but not by much. But at least it is cooler today. I think we're down to 37 degrees with the Humidex.
And a breeze as well. That goes out of bounds, so it'll come out to the brick. There's a breeze here today, and it's kind of gusty, and that might affect the way the disc moves around, floats. It'll stay up, it'll just sit, it'll hang there for a while, and this might turn into a little bit of a huck fest, I would think.
It definitely could. I mean, wind is always what we say the great equalizer in Ultimate. It can certainly make teams that should be far ahead of other teams a little bit more even when the wind gets gusty and unpredictable. So we may see that happen here today.
Dan Balserson moves that one into the area. The observers for this one, Sandra Hansen and Alain Legault. Now they are going to intervene when discussions arise for this final. They're not referees. They are observers. This is the kind of sport that polices itself.
We do believe in the game staying in the hands of the players, and the players being accountable for their actions and calling each other on their fouls, and the observers are there to maintain that spirit and make sure that people are playing by spirit of the game without making active calls.
Costa for Balserson down low. Nice snag there from Lazenby. Adam Lazenby now. Couple of yards out of the end zone. Forced back. Balserson into the end zone for the first goal. Krista Kotwa scores, and it's 1-0 for Chaos. Really important in a final like this to establish the tone, and your first possession you want to score.
Absolutely, and there were no turnovers on that possession, which is a great way to start the game. Every team is hoping for no breaks, basically, and so we just want to see really clean offense from both teams, and it should be a great game.
So now we're going to see Anchor, for the first time, get their offensive unit out there.
Anchor is the national champions from 2017 in Saskatoon, where they did win CUC, which is the Canadian Ultimate Championships, and went on to Worlds in Cincinnati, where they placed 11th. So I do expect to see some great offense from this Anchor team.
Where do the Canadian teams stand at the world level?
So we actually just finished our U24 World Championships in Germany. They just wrapped up yesterday. We came home with a bronze in the women's division, a silver in the open division, and we finished 5th in the mixed division. So we are in that upper end at the world level as well.
So Anchor will have the new ratio, 4 women and 3 men, to start their first possession of this mixed final in the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Tournament. Good pull, and that it did land in the field of play and then rolled out.
So he'll have to take that on that front cone. Oh, it looks like there was an offside call there. So each team gets a warning for one offside, and then their second offside, the other team will get field position. So that was an offside call.
Dimensions of the field, Terry Lynn.
We play, the playing surface itself is 70 meters long by 40 meters wide, and then when you add the end zones onto that, the end zones are 20 meters deep by 40 meters wide. So it's 110 by 40 total with 20-yard end zones.
Anchor now. Number 7, John Walsh, looking deep. He's got Jillian Shea. She's got to wait for it. We talked about discs sailing a little bit. Here's Shea now, waiting for some support. Moves that up. Number 19, Chris Gordon with it. Gordon trying to get his team on the board, and he does. Tyler Smith is into the end zone for the score, and it's 1 apiece.
That was a great long throw to a player that was wide open and uncovered, and exactly what I expect to see from Anchor.
They're the team that will huck more than Chaos, I would think. Chaos more disc control.
I would think so, especially coming from Halifax. They do have a lot more experience and practice in the wind, so this wind is probably not much of a factor for them. They play in conditions that are significantly windier, being a coastal team. So this would be something that would not really faze them very much.
So now the ratio does not change until after the next point. So Chaos will have 4 men, or 4 women and 3 men out there for this point, and it's the offensive unit that we saw earlier, and this is the kind of strategy now that teams are using. They've got offensive and defensive units that go out there, and at this level you kind of expect to see that.
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, both teams will be hoping for no breaks, which means that when their D-line is out, they shouldn't have to play O, and when their O-line is out, they shouldn't have to play D. So they're going to be really counting on those lines being accurate.
Joyce Lee. Back for Lazenby. Lazenby flips that up, and our first drop. Balzerson couldn't hang on, and here's a turnover for Anchor. Rear Hunt moves that one up. Andrew Johnston with it, in trouble, back for Hunt, and Johnston drops the disc. So the mistake that Chaos made did not cost them, and their offensive unit's still out there. Here's Lee. Lee being marked there by Tracy Dyer. Lee gets that one up. Julia Peden with it. Peden sends that out, just flips it out for Krista Kotwa. And now a foul called.
Is a pick called on the play, so they need to stop and be able to catch back up to the player that was picked. So they're just figuring that out on the field now. The discussion now will be whether or not that pick actually affected that throw. If it did not affect the throw, then the catch that's there still stands with number 72. If it did affect that throw and that catch, then it will go back.
And they seem to have things sorted out. Lauren Haley all over Krista Cotwa right now as Cotwa gets the game underway once again. Nice little flip to Peden. Julia Peden. Closely marked there by Victoria Brewer, goes into the end zone, and it's another turnover. So Chaos coming away empty-handed after getting a bit of a break earlier. They dropped, lost possession, and then Anchor came back, dropped it back, and they had really good field position to start that last drive.
They did, and now, Anchor needs to work it all the way back up the field to score, and hopefully Chaos can get it back here for them.
Long huck. Looking for Tracy Dyer, can't hang on. I think that was a case more of looking downfield for somebody to pass it to before you actually had the disc in your hand.
So easy to get excited about making those catches when you're wide open and looking ahead before making sure that the disc is actually in your hands.
Here's Balzerson, flips that one out for number 42, or make that Dwayne Neal. Balzerson has it back. Balzerson, little flip, and the catch there by Cotwa. Balzerson has it now into the end zone for the score. And it's 2-1 Chaos. Not sure who made the catch. I think it was number 19, Julia Peden, in the end zone. She gets the goal. So 2-1, Chaos in front. And that last drive, just a perfect example of the way they control the disc. And that is the key. Possession is the key. If the other team doesn't have the disc, they can't score.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there were 3 turnovers in that point, but Chaos was able to still maintain offensive possession and score that point so that Anchor did not get a break. And you're right, possession is the rule of the law here when you're playing.
A beautiful day. The temperature around 30 degrees with the Humidex. That's about 36, 37 today. Considerably cooler, 10 degrees cooler with the Humidex, in fact, than it was yesterday afternoon. So, full marks to the folks here at Ultimate Parks International for making sure that these fields are maintained in such hot weather.
These fields really are the gem of the Ottawa Carleton Ultimate Association. They are privately owned by the local league here. They are irrigated, which is why they look so beautiful and green and so well maintained. And it really is sort of something that the Ottawa Ultimate community is very proud of.
Anchor, little flip out there. Nice grab by Laurel Dyken. There's an interception there. Another turnover. Back comes Chaos. Thomas Black looking into the end zone. They got it.
And there is our first break of the game for Chaos.
Nick Bolarin gets the goal, but the play was made by the turnover about 25 yards out. This is the toss into the end zone, and Bolarin comes down with it. 3-1 Chaos. And now a little bit of separation between these two teams, and you know that Anchor has to really stress defense now. Yes, go on the offense, you have to, but they can't get scored on anymore. If they want to, stay in it, keep the deficit to 2 goals.
They need to get that break back, absolutely. And, in a game at this level, 1 break can be the difference. And so they need to make sure that they focus on getting that break back so that they can pull ahead.
And yes, these athletes are tremendously fit. They do an exorbitant amount of running in a game, but I'm just wondering, over the course of the weekend. 4 games yesterday, 3 today. How tired are these guys right now?
These guys are pretty tired, and you're going to see which teams have put the work in before the season started and during the season to make sure that they are ready, that their legs are ready, and it'll really be the team that's still got legs left at the end of this game that's going to be able to hopefully walk away with the win.
Gavin Gray moves that up. Here's Chris Gordon. Gordon into the middle for Tyler Smith. Smith had Kat Fraser open. She couldn't hang on to the disc, and this could prove fatal for Anchor if Chaos can head down the field and score once again. And another foul called. And Adam Lazenby actually sitting there calling a play almost like basketball. Set it up. So they got their offense going. Here's Chaos into the end zone. Laid out. Great effort there from Tommy Flynn, but he just unable to come up with a disc.
That was a really nice attempt to try and get that disc to the break side where you tend to not have as many defenders covering you.
Great effort. Flynn laying out, just unable to catch up with it. And that would have been a perfect time for the disc to just float a little bit more for him. Just that extra half a second would have made a difference.
I'm sure he's wishing for that too.
So Anchor now. Moving it up. Tanis Trainer all the way down. And the disc knocked down. Another turnover by Anchor. Here comes Chaos. Lazenby looking into the end zone. Can't come up with it. Lauren Green was on her way there, but the disc just dove into the ground directly in front of Lauren Green, and it results in another turnover. So this, the third turnover on this point.
And third chance for Anchor to get this point back. So hopefully they can generate some offense here, maintain possession, and work their way down the field.
They come out to the line. Gavin Gray has it now. Into the middle for Trainer. She can't handle it. And Chaos on the doorstep once again. About 5 yards out. Looking to make it 4-1. There's Lazenby into the hands of Dwayne Neal, and Chaos really in control of this mixed final here at the No Borders Ultimate Tournament. Four to 1, and 4 different individual scoring goals for Chaos. Julia Peden, Nick Ballarin, Krista Kotwa, and Dwayne Neal makes it 4-1, and be good for Anchor to call a timeout here and just regroup, get everybody back on the same page. Yeah, we're down here, but you know what? We're up against it. Chip away. You can't get it all in one shot. Chip away.
That's right. So they have called a timeout here, which is a great call by Anchor. They need to regroup. They need to get mentally focused. They also need to give their D-line a little bit, or their O-line, excuse me, a little bit of a break. They've been out there the last 3 points playing and trying to generate some offense. So it's a strategic timeout as well, I'm sure, to give that line a bit of a break and get some legs under them again.
What was really interesting on that last sequence, when Anchor was on the offense and Chaos on defense, Chaos has their defense spread out virtually half of the entire pitch here. Anchor wants to go deep. They're going to find it really difficult.
Yeah, they're going to have to start doing a little bit more work on their short game and making sure that those catches are being made on the end cuts, because they're going to need to maintain possession if they want to be able to score.
The cutters have been moving, but it's just right now maybe a little bit of nerves being in this final. Not that they haven't been there before. It's just it's a new final, and in hockey they call it hanging or holding onto your stick too tight. They're just not handling the disc. They're perhaps looking a half a second ahead all the time instead of making sure that that disc is secure. So now 4 women, 3 men for Anchor on this 6th point, Chaos leading this mixed final by 3. TJ Reeds with the pull. And the disc just sitting up in the air, allowing Chaos to get downfield very, very quickly.
Oh, we see a zone now. There's a zone defense that Chaos is putting on Anchor.
Into the middle. Trainer. Flips that one back for Gavin Gray. Gray with the hammer into the middle for Tyler Smith, who has the only goal for Anchor. Here's Tanis Trainer. Trainer. Forced back for Gavin Gray. Gray along the line for Tyler Smith. Smith about 4 yards out. Little flip. Gavin Gray into the end zone. Nope. They don't mark him in. They mark him on the line. Little flip through. Trainer has it. And Anchor back within a couple.
That's a great goal for Anchor and a really important one to get after taking that timeout so that their team can get some motivation and some momentum to move forward and keep scoring.
There's the little flip and Tanis Trainer in the end zone just beyond the outstretched defense of Louise Guala. And now Chaos calls a timeout. I think it's more important to really be hydrated here today. Get as much water in you as you can. 3 big plastic bottles of water are out here, and these guys know exactly what they're doing. They've done it before. They've played in all kinds of conditions, and that's the thing about Ultimate. It's a lot like football in that the only way a game will be postponed or suspended temporarily is lightning.
That is correct. We hear thunder or lightning. That's the only thing that will stop play. So wind doesn't matter, heat doesn't matter. We make sure that we take care of our bodies, but that the game still does go on. So.
How many people participating in this tournament this weekend, Terry Lynn? I noticed there are 21 fields here, and they're all full.
They are all full. I know they have 18 women's teams here, 24 open teams, which are men's teams here primarily. And then in the mixed division, I think they were sitting somewhere around 16 or 18. And then when you consider there's 21 to 25 players on a roster, they have easily over 1,000 athletes here for the weekend, which is great.
Lazenby flips that one out. Balzerson down the sideline finds Krista Kotwa. Kotwa looking to pivot, can't get away from Lauren Haley, and foul called. Is the foul in the area near the end zone?
The foul was actually between the thrower and the marker, but they are just establishing where they should be taking position because it should be based on when that foul was called.
Kotwa looking deep in the end zone. Balzerson just unable to hang on. That would have been big, and now Anchor gets an opportunity down by 2. They get the disc back and get their offense on.
This is their chance to get a break back and be able to get one of those points back from earlier in the game and be able to bring that margin much closer between them and Chaos.
So Greer Hunt will begin this possession for Anchor. Moves that one up. Travis Foster. Foster back into the middle for Hunt. Hunt looking deep. Here's the big huck, and it's knocked down. Krista Kotwa down defensively for Chaos, and there were 2 Anchor players, number 24 Tracy Dyer and number 58 Carly Francis, who had an opportunity to make that catch. He just couldn't catch up to the disc. Good grab there. Back comes Chaos. Kotwa moves it across. Chris McKee All the way across, Lee can't hang on. Another turnover, and Anchor will get the disc back. Halftime will be at 8 points. There is an 80-minute hard cap on this game, this final. During the tournament is a 70-minute hard cap. And there's the Huck into the end zone once again, over the head of Kotwa. Number 29, Adam Paulus, was in the vicinity, but Kotwa there defending, and there's a perfect indication of what we discussed earlier, Terry Lynn, about the Chaos defense being spread out. So Anchor relies on the Huck and the long one, perhaps a little too much, so the scouting report by Chaos is pretty accurate so far. Don't give them the long one. Give them the 5-10 yard pass, but don't let them score on you deep.
Absolutely. Chaos is doing a great job covering both the break side and the force side of the field. So where the Cutters are being forced to run to, but also the other side of the field, which is the break side, and making sure that they cover that side, knowing that Anchor is going to go for that Huck.
4-2. Anchor in your picture from Halifax, Nova Scotia, here at this No Borders tournament. And this tournament has been going on steadily and healthily since around 1985.
That's right. This is, I believe, the 35th year, I think I saw on the website, of No Borders. So it's been going on here since before this park was even created. That's how long this tournament's been running, which is great to see a legacy like that in the nation's capital.
And it used to have a lot of international flavor at one point, but I guess that's changed probably for geographic and economic reasons, I'm sure.
I think so. The tournament was actually created back in the day when there weren't as many people playing Ultimate, and so opportunities for Canadian teams to be able to play at home were fairly limited. So they created this tournament to try and attract some of those U.S. teams to come up and play.
Balls are set for Chaos. Force all the way back. Lazenby moves that across for Chris McKee. McKee, low pass to the far side. Kotwa being marked there once again by Lauren Haley. That's a matchup we're going to see a lot of in this one. Great grab there by Lazenby, and he goes deep but well over the head of Balzersut.
We do have a call way back here on the play with Katwa.
There's a great grab by Adam Lazenby, despite a great defensive effort by number 42, Greer Hunt. So they'll bring it all the way back. There you see number 66, Stacey Samus, out there taking a knee, trying to preserve as much energy as they can right now.
That is key in heat like this, is to make sure that when you have the opportunities to take a rest, you take them, even if it's during a call.
And Anchor gets the disc. Greer moves that one down. Victoria Brewer into the end zone. The catch is made by Tracy Dyer, and then the little flip for Haley, but that's coming back.
That's a travel call coming back.
Got a yard out. Anchor really trying to lift the Anchor and get back within one here against Chaos in this mixed final of the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Tournament from Ultimate Parks International in Manotick Station, south of the nation's capital. Little flip back out for Greer Hunt. Hunt into the end zone. The catch made there by Tracy Dyer, and it's 4-3.
Great point that Anchor just grinded out to make sure that they got back into this game.
And that's the kind of tight defensive play that you're going to see a lot of as this game wears on. It's getting closer and closer. Chaos in blue, Anchor in white. Chaos had a 4-1 lead at one time, and Anchor has come back and scored the last 2 points to get back within one in this mixed final. Dan Mooney, Terry Lynn Belanger, and our entire Rogers TV crew, so happy to have you along for the ride here on a beautiful summer afternoon in Ottawa. So Anchor now has a little bit of momentum. They get another turnover here. They want to tie things up for sure.
Absolutely. They've scored those last 2 points since they took that timeout. So their timeout was obviously very effective and was well used. And they are certainly on the upward trajectory now in this game.
Greer Hunt getting set to release the disc on the after goal pull. Here it is. Sailing, and it touches down. Here comes Chaos. TJ Reeds, here's a long huck. Can she catch up to it? No, just too far for number 12, Sydney Walker. Right idea, and now this is one of the few times that we've seen Chaos go into huck mode, trying for the long one. Their MO this entire final thus far has been disc possession.
Absolutely, and then they just got scored on twice, so looking to change up their game a little bit. You could actually see that disc have a little air bounce in it, so you know that the wind was a factor in pushing it down to the ground so far, and who knows, had it hung up there a little bit, she may have been able to catch up to it.
Wind blowing from left to right on your screen, so the beauty of Ultimate is that you don't defend a specific end for the entire half. You have to play both ends of the spectrum.
Absolutely. Wind is such a factor, so we do make sure that people have to score in both directions.
Reeds. Little flip, and it's blocked, knocked down. Good hands there by number 72, Brent Wallace. And now the disc possession comes back to Anchor. They're looking to tie it up. Greer Hunt, little flip over. That's picked off by Andrew Savage. And back comes Chaos. Thomas Black. And travel called by Greer Hunt. And observer Alain Legault gets into position. They'll have their discussion. There you see the spirit of the game. Chaos again, looking deep. Great grab there. Andrew Savage. And it's now 5-3, and Chaos has got a little bit more momentum on their side. Savage doing a great job of running under that, getting down, making sure he has the catch. Great speed by Savage to get into the end zone, and now it's 5-3. And 5 different goal scorers again. For Chaos, 3 different goal scorers for Anchor. Usually see 1 or 2 players in Ultimate tend to dominate.
They do, and this just shows the depth of these teams, that they have players deep into their roster who are able to make those runs and make those catches when they count.
So 5-3 for Chaos.
An important point for Chaos to stop that momentum that Anchor was starting to build after the timeout. They needed to come out. They needed to score something else before half.
And now they've got their defensive unit out there. It's 4 men, 3 women. And a good pull. Goes all the way into the Anchor end zone. Back out now, Chris Gordon. Gordon working in the handler spot right now. John Walsh, and another foul called. Play underway once again. Here's Walsh. Walsh, little flick up there for Tyler Smith. Smith has 1 goal in this one. Smith moves that one up for Jillian Shea. Lee marking her. Walsh once again. Walsh looking deep. He's got Tyler Smith in the end zone, and Anchor back within a goal. So just when we say, usually you see players dominate in the scoring categories in Ultimate, that's Tyler Smith's 2nd goal. So now we've got somebody with more than 1.
And Tyler Smith is a great player. He makes those runs to the house, and he gets the disc often down there. So it's good to see him starting to pull away and do what he's supposed to be doing on this team for Anchor.
So Anchor back within 1, and just the body language on these two teams. There you see Chaos. They lead this one 5-4, but not nearly as excited as Anchor seems to be right now.
Anchor has scored 3 of the last 4 points, and that's great when you start to look at the game in points of 3 and break it down, and having to win a multiple games of 3. That's how you can keep the spirits up on your team, is to focus on just the next 3 points and then win that game to 3.
So Anchor and Greer Hunt will get this game restarted here. And now the ratio, 4 women, 3 men. Here's Greer Hunt. Low pull. Sails on a string all the way down to the Chaos goal line. Andrew Savage with the disc. Savage tried to find Jen LaRue cutting, couldn't find her. Moves it to the near side. Neil Thomas.
Beautiful D by Anchor there.
Number 72, Brent Wallace, there to knock it down. And Anchor gets the disc back with an opportunity to get back on even terms once again. And then we talked about them chipping away at that 4-1 lead. That's exactly what they've done.
And they're a really seasoned team. They've played internationally. Chaos is a brand new team this year. So from an experience standpoint, being down 3 points for Anchor was probably not nearly as concerning to them. They've grinded it out at international tournaments and been able to make those kinds of comebacks.
Brett Wallace, rear Hunt. Wallace again into the end zone, into the arms of Tracy Dyer. This game tied. And great play to find Wallace wide open, and Tracy Dyer not even marked. Wide open in the end zone, gets the goal, and it's 5-5. So does Chaos take another timeout here?
I wouldn't be surprised if they do. They do have 2 timeouts per half, and it would be wouldn't be a bad idea for them to regroup and do something again before half hits and see if they can change the momentum in their favor this time.
2 timeouts and a floater.
Correct.
Which they can use wherever they want in the game. So we're almost 40 minutes in here, 36 minutes in, and it's 5-5. This has been a fairly brisk pace to this one as well. Some turnovers, but the game has had some great flow. Started off well, Chaos in control, and Anchor just needed to get their bearings, kind of like a prize fight where the two combatants feel each other out for the first round just to see what they got.
Absolutely.
So Anchor will get this mixed final underway again. There you see number 42, Greer Hunt. He's been instrumental in this comeback, acting as a handler. Handler's kind of like a quarterback in football, folks. They're the ones, and another mistake there by Chaos as they're perhaps being a little laissez-faire here now.
Maybe getting a little nervous. Maybe this is, this is the first time that they've seen Anchor this season, well, ever, since they are a brand new team. So nerves might be getting them a little bit too.
Andrew Johnston with the drop, and Chaos gets the disc back. Lazenby goes up for Kotwa. Kotwa on the right side. Kotwa. That pass too far for Heather Neary, and it's another turnover by Chaos.
Here we go, Chaos! Play some deep! Nothing easy!
Interesting thing with Greer Hunt, number 42 from Anchor, he's actually from Newfoundland, so he practices with the competitive teams in Newfoundland and then joins Anchor for their tournaments.
Is that, I would have to think that in communities that are putting out these competitive teams, that's got to be more the norm than the exception.
It happens often, especially in some of those smaller regions or smaller communities where, players want to be able to play with a team that's going to hopefully challenge for the gold medal at nationals, and so they may have to do some traveling or do some independent practicing and then be able to pick up with teams at tournaments.
Discussion now, Greer Hunt. Observer, Alain Legault right in there, and Adam Lazenby pleading his case. Sandra Hansen coming in for another interpretation.
Players getting clarification on the rule in question.
Not sure what the foul that was called. Everybody gets an opportunity to plead their case.
So, it's a decision. Hey, we're gonna agree on two.
I believe they were trying to agree on the stall count that it would come back in at, so it looks like it's coming in at stall 2.
Hunt, little flip out for number 44, Travis Foster. Back for Greer Hunt. Hunt into the middle. Number 91, Andrew Johnston with it now. Anchor looking to threaten to take the lead, and they got it. Greer Hunt gets on the board on a lovely little toss from Andrew Johnston, and Halifax and Anchor have their first lead of this mixed final.
Amazing playing there by Greer, who's doing both a handler and cutter role in that last little play.
Six-5, Anchor leads it. They trailed 4-1 early in this mixed final, and now have taken the lead. What does Chaos have to do now, Terry Lynn, to regroup here?
Chaos really needs to make sure that when they have possession of that disc, they're making smart choices. They're making the right choices in order to maintain possession and be able to work up the field. It can get really tempting to make those long throws just to try and score, but you need to make the throws that are going to be caught. And, for the most part, when you're looking at a possession game, making sure that you have 80% possession at all times, but you're not turning over the disc, is really what's going to help you be able to score in tight games like this.
Little over the halfway mark here in this mixed final, and yet we're not to half time. That will occur once one of these teams reaches the 8-point mark Then they'll take a break, get some water, regroup. And they don't really get a lot of time. It's only a 5-minute break. But nonetheless, it is a break, and sometimes that can turn things around for you.
Absolutely. Get the combination of getting some shade, getting some water, and then maybe having a bit of a talking to from your captain or coach can make a big difference and can really turn things for the second half.
There you see chaos all the way from the Maritimes, Halifax, Nova Scotia, and considerable raising of their spirits in consideration of the fact they were down by 3 very early in this one, and full marks to them. Yeah, they're an experienced club. They get together, they play together often. They're veterans of this game, and that's what you see really good teams do. They don't let adversity get to them. They just break it down and claw their way back in, and that's exactly what Anchor has done.
That's true. And for Anchor, about half of this team is part of the team that went to Worlds in Cincinnati in 2018. The other half is new, but that leadership is key. Those leaders being able to stay calm even when you're down 3 points and be able to lead their team to come back is crucial to a team's success.
Low pull, chaos, but 15 yards out from their own goal line. Reeds looking deep. Chaos trying to get one quick here. Floating disc, can't grab it. Great effort there by Neil Thomas, but the disc kept floating, rising and dropping, rising and dropping. And full marks to Travis Foster there for defending and not allowing Thomas any room, or Foster stole that line away defensively to take the point away, and another turnover for Anchor. They go on offense again.
And we've seen this time and time again in that back corner. The throws that go long are constantly going into that back corner of the end zone, and the wind gets a little bit gusty right there and seems to be doing some unpredictable things.
And another call at the goal line. Number 72, Brent Wallace, called, I believe, by Thomas Black.
Looks like he's calling a travel.
And again, these are the kinds of things, I know it goes against the spirit of the game, but let's say you're down and things aren't going your way. Call a foul. Stop play, kill momentum, and just discuss, take a couple of minutes and regroup a little. Plus, in this hot weather, give your team a chance to rest a little.
Rest is crucial. Anytime that you can get a little bit of rest or a bit of a break is going to be important.
Low pass right into the hands of Tanis Traynor. And there's a foul against Thomas Black. No argument whatsoever. All the way back for Gordon. Gordon into the middle, into the arms of Travis Foster. Foster forced to the left side for Evan Mercer. Mercer, little flip into the hands of Tanis Traynor. Traynor forced back. Foster. Little flip back to Traynor. Traynor to the outside into the arms of Evan Mercer. Mercer toward the end zone. Brent Wallace with it. Wallace, nice pass. And there's the score. Tanis Traynor with her second of this mixed final, and it's 7-5 Anchor.
Tanis Traynor is really setting herself out here from the rest of her team as far as working the midfield, but also being available there when they need to score those goals. She's having a great game so far.
Her second. Tracy Dyer has 2. Tyler Smith has 2, and Greer Hunt with the singleton. And boy, first 15 minutes of this one were all chaos. They led 4-1, and since that time, Anchor has a 6-1 lead.
It's amazing to see when those tides can change, and you know they may be on a roll right now, but there's still a lot of game left here for Chaos to regroup and get back into it.
Number 26.
So Anchor will pull. They can get a turnover here and send us to halftime.
It would be a really important break for Anchor to be able to go into half after this point. So it'll be interesting to see how tight their defense plays in trying to force that turnover.
Just an absolutely gorgeous day, and we're out of the sun, eh, Terry Lynn?
Yeah, yeah, it's
little
nice and cool in
shade
the shade.
here. Those guys aren't in the shade. Greer Hunt with the pull. Dan Balzerson moves it all the way back out. Chaos all the way down into the end zone for the goal. And they got one back, and not much of a celly there.
Too hot to be celebrating. They've been working for that goal for quite a while now, so I'm glad to see that they did get that. They needed to go to half with at least scoring again since their last goal.
Not quite sure who it was in the end zone that made the catch. I think it was number 11, Tom Flynn, who had an opportunity to get one earlier. He's on the board now, and it's 7-6.
We talked about at the beginning of this game, hoping for a nice close game that may end up being tied, and it looks like these teams are giving us exactly what we were hoping for.
Thomas Flynn gets credit. 6 different goal scorers for Chaos.
I was talking to Chaos just before the game, and they do really like to refer to themselves as a faceless team, in the sense that there's no one star that stands out. They really are a team that just works and grinds together and plays together, and that's how they like to be described.
Great floating pull all the way back into the Anchor end zone. John Walsh. Tyler Smith. Smith down the right side into the hands of Laurel Dyken. Dyken. Nice little flip. Back for Tyler Smith. Smith looking one way, spinning the other. Has to get rid of it, and it goes out of the hands of Gavin Gray despite laying out, trying to get to it. Tyler Smith in tight, and with the longer stall count, it makes it a little easier to look around and find the open player, but Smith was running out of time.
Definitely, and you know, as you start to get to stall 7, 8, and 9, throwers can tend to panic a little bit with the disc and try to get rid of it quickly, so that often can cause turnovers.
Nick Ballerin all the way down. Savage into the end zone. Great grab there. Sidney Walker. It's 7 apiece. Just when you think Anchor's going to run away with it, Chaos says no. They come back with 2 straight goals to tie it up at 7. And this is exactly the kind of final that the organizers were looking for at the No Borders International Ultimate Tournament. This is what they were looking for. And it's a bit of a marathon. It's not a sprint to get to this final. Both of these teams playing 7 games to get to this point.
Absolutely. Both teams playing the same number of games. Bye patterns would be similar, so from a tiring standpoint, both teams have been worked equally as hard to get here, and so it's always great when that happens and you get great parity in a final like this.
And nice to see the level of resilience, but you know, two teams that make a final in a tournament of this caliber, they've been through adversity before, and they will have to go through it again, but it's just how you react to it, I suppose, as a team.
Absolutely. And you're right, this is a great preparation for both of these teams going into nationals, which is really what this tournament is used for. This year, these teams both going for gold, both wanting to represent Canada as the winner of nationals. They get to go and become Team Canada in 2020.
Rear Hunt. Little flip. Gavin Gray. Nice grab to keep the disc alive there by Kat Fraser. Little pass for Tana's trainer, a flip to Greer Hunt, trying to find the open man. Nice grab again by Kat Fraser to keep this point alive. Tyler Smith moves it back. Nice grab there by Gray, Gavin Gray into the end zone. And there's the goal, and we go to halftime. Laurel Dyken gets the goal to give Anchor an 8-7 lead, and we are at halftime. We'll take a break, come back, and join us for the second part of this great mixed final at the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Tournament. Welcome back to Ultimate Parks International in Manotick Station, just south of the nation's capital. This is the mixed final of the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Tournament. Dan Mooney alongside Terry Lynn Belanger, and Terry Lynn, lots of highlights in that opening half. We expected it to be close, but I didn't think it was going to be a one-goal game.
Well, and it seemed to go back and forth in the beginning, with both teams taking a significant lead at one point, and then both teams were able to close out those leads and make it a nice tight game.
Chaos in Blue from southwestern Ontario dominated the first 15 minutes of this one, but then Anchor in white from Halifax, Nova Scotia really came back strong to win 6 out of 7 points.
That's right, they really did come back, and that, again, I think that's their experience that's coming through. They're able to stay calm even when they get down, and then we have a 1-point game going into half.
But then, just when you think Chaos is out, they come back, get a couple of their own, tie it up, but Anchor, with the final goal of that opening half, it's just back and forth, and Chaos resorting to the long disc, the huck. Whereas when they held on and controlled this game early, they were more about disc possession. Do you think they're going to go back to that in the second half?
I think so. I mean, when we see these two teams come out after half, I think we're going to see something very similar to what we saw at the beginning of this game. They're going to go back to their fundamentals. They're going to go back to the foundation of how they play, and that's what you would have seen in those first few points. So we'll see if that's what Chaos does do, is come back out and work on that short fundamental game of maintaining possession and marching it down the field.
8-7 for the team in the background, Anchor from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Now they're in the foreground. They lead 8-7. Goals coming. 2 each from Tana's trainer, Tracy Dyer and Tyler Smith. Laurel Dyken and Greer Hunt with the singles. For Chaos, 7 different goal scorers. Andrew Savage, Tommy Flynn, Sidney Walker, Julia Peden, Nick Ballerin, Dwayne Neal, and Krista Kotwa. 7 different goal scorers. So they'd like to move the disc around. That's a sign of a really good team too.
Absolutely. The depth on that team is obviously impressive, and we've talked a little bit about how they're a brand new team this year, but they came into Ontario Provincial Championships and they surprised everyone and won the whole thing coming out of Ontario in the first seed. So just because they're a new team does not mean that these players are not experienced players and that they haven't played together before in other situations. So you can never underestimate a team just because they're new on the scene.
Now, people come from all over the place to play for these teams. most notably Chaos, where they have players representing 5 different Southern Ontario cities on their roster. They don't get a chance to practice very much because logistics just doesn't allow for it. How do they stay so tight as a team when they don't get an opportunity to work out together?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them will practice with local competitive programs just as a body so that they can stay in that with that competitive edge and be practicing in an environment that has that drive. Others will make the drive to be able to practice and play with their team. So even if they're...
Great grab there. Laurel Dyken coming down with it. 9-7 Anchor. Leapt with one hand to grab it and had the presence of mind to look at where her feet were to come down with it. Very close to the end line, and what a grab. Laurel Dyken with her second goal. She got the 8th goal for Anchor to send us to the break, and now she gives her team a two-disc lead. The discussion after the goal goes in Anchor's favor, and they've now opened up a 9-7 lead here in the second half of this mixed final.
Again, coming out of half, our first point is a quick point where there's no turnover, just like it was to start the game, only this time with Anchor in possession.
4 players scored 2 apiece here for Anchor. Greer Hunt with the single, but Greer Hunt, he's got a primary role as a handler for Anchor. You don't see him score a lot, you'll see him pass a lot for goals, but in this one, he had a beauty as he switched positions, I believe, with Travis Foster, gave Foster the disc, took off himself into the end zone, and scored his lone goal of this mixed final. There you see Anchor getting ready to pull. Greer Hunt has the disc. Waiting for the signal. And here it comes. High floater. Allowing his team to get downfield. Balderson for Lee. Lee running out of time. Forced back. Balderson for Flynn. Tommy Flynn. Back for Dan Balderson. Balderson for Lee, too far, and there's a turnover.
It did look like Chaos went back to that primary goal of maintaining possession and working it up the field, just a little bit too low on that last throw.
Here's Greer Hunt. Hunt looking deep, throws too low. Had Adam Paulus downfield, and Paulus made a good break for the disc. It didn't stay afloat. Dan Balderson into the middle for Kotwa. Kotwa into the hands of Samus. Back for Kotwa. Another turnover there as Flynn laid out to try and save it. Couldn't. And now it's another opportunity for Anchor. Hunt. Foster. Back for Hunt. Hunt sends that out wide. Lauren Haley. Back for Foster. Little flip. Brent Wallace. Nicely into the hands of Victoria Brewer. Brewer for Wallace. Wallace plants his foot, gets right to the corner, comes back out for Greer Hunt into the end zone. Foster can't get it. He's a yard out. Foster back for Hunt. Hunt has Wallace wide open in the end zone. Little flip for Foster and a foul called.
kick called in the end zone there. Not surprising given how many players are in there cutting and trying to get open.
And you only got 20 yards, or 20 meters as it were.
Yeah, that's a lot of players in a small space.
Always the hardest to score from the 1 yard line.
Chaos doing a great job playing really tight D. They've been outside that end zone for multiple throws now and not able to get it in. That's great defense for Chaos.
Foster into the end zone. Victoria Brewer makes it 10-7. Anchor has taken control of this one. The largest lead of the game earlier, 4-1 for Chaos, much earlier in this one. Now, Anchor has stormed back to lead by 3. 10-7 is the score at this point. An 80-minute hard cap in this mixed final. And we are just shy of 22 minutes remaining on that hard cap at this point.
It'll be interesting to see if the game actually gets to 15 with how hard these two teams are playing each other. And the defense there from Chaos I thought was phenomenal, especially on that end zone line.
But they bent, and finally Anchor was able to get one in there. Victoria Brewer with her first goal of this mixed final.
And Anchor showing great patience with that. They were getting played defense on. It was tight, but they were able to just maintain possession of the disc, making sure that their throws were being caught and that they were able to just be patient and take the opportunity when it came to them.
Now, Chaos has to maintain that patience level as well to chip away at a 3-goal advantage. Neil Thomas moves that up. Here's Andrew Savage. All the way down, that's going to be another turnover. And Chaos in a little bit of disarray right now, Terry Lynn. They just don't seem to have the same level of intensity that they started with in this one.
I had hoped they were going to come back from the half energized.
Great grab there by Tyler Smith. Now he's got to wait for some help. Smith went up high against TJ Reeds.
We actually have an injury on the field there with one of the Chaos women.
Might be a cramp. Tendency to do that. I don't think it's a woman.
Oh, no, it is not.
Yeah, and they're working on the left leg, and it's calf cramp. That's exactly what it is. And today and this weekend entirely, you have to stay hydrated. Otherwise, your muscles will cramp up.
Absolutely. Hydration is key, especially in this kind of heat, and cramps are something that we've been seeing all weekend from teams or players that haven't been, hydrating as much as they could. And even with hydrating as much as possible in this kind of heat, cramps are something that is just a risk.
Yeah, and almost an inevitability.
Pretty much, yeah.
Underway once again, little flip. Smith into the end zone. Great grab there. They're giving her the goal. Number 24, Tracy Dyer with her third of this mixed final, and it's 11-7.
Amazing,
for Anchor.
Amazing layout grab by Tracy.
There she is, Tracy Dyer, the Nova Scotia native, with her third goal in this mixed final. And really not a lot of discrepancies here between the guys and the girls. They're both equally adept at playing this game. Both have great speed, both are knowledgeable enough to look for the open space on the field, go for it, and that's exactly what Tracy Dyer did there in the end zone and laid out to make the grab for her third goal here in this one. Now she gets a well-deserved rest. She'll head to the sidelines, get some water.
Interesting to note that for Anchor, 8 of those 11 goals have been scored by women, so they are using their women very well, and their women are used to being in those positions where they're having to cut into the end zone and make grabs under pressure and be able to come down with the disc.
Well, Tracy Dyer right back out there. Comes off for a drink, gets right back out there for the Anchor 7. 3 men, 4 women, the ratio. Right now. Number 19, Julia Peden. Peden coming down. Great layout there by number 27, Chris McKee. All the way back. Peden goes to the right side this time. Finds Lauren Green. Green, little flip for Lazenby. Lazenby, hard shot through the hands of McKee, and it's another turnover by Chaos. Anchor gets the disc back. There's the hard pass, just beyond the reach of Chris McKee.
It was the right idea trying to get the disc to that side of the field, just needed a little bit more love on that throw.
Johnston, little floater, great grab there by Brent Wallace, and he couldn't hang on to the disc. Had it, dropped it. Back comes Chaos. And another stoppage here as Dwayne Neal has the disc. The discussion seems to be centered around possession of the disc.
If I was guessing based on that play, they're probably discussing whether or not the disc was properly checked back in before he threw it.
Discussion continues. Sandra Hansen, the observer. Made her ruling. The disc should come back into the hands of Chaos after the drop by Brent Wallace. Dwayne Neal has it. We're back underway. Neal, short flip. Neary, Heather Neary sends it to the outside. Chris McKee, little flip. Lazenby, Lazenby looks to the end zone. Can't find anybody open. Lazenby forced back over the head of Lee, but right into the hands of Julia Peden. Back for Lee, and she dropped it.
That's unfortunate. Chaos was right on their goal line, and that would have been their first goal at half since half. So let's see if they can put some hard D on here and get it back.
A little less than 14 minutes remaining in this one. And there's the long huck. It's floating right into the hands of Johnston. Johnston on the goal line. And Neal doesn't like the call. Johnson made the catch. Tracy Dyer was in the vicinity, as well as Kat Fraser. Disc tapped into the hands of Fraser. And it's now 11 or 12 to 7. Kat Fraser with her first of this contest, and it is becoming a little bit of a runaway here, Terry Lynn.
It is. Chaos has really struggled since the half, coming out and getting energized and getting their feet beneath them. Anchor, on the other hand, has come out with the same momentum they went into half with, just playing really disciplined ultimate. They obviously know how each other plays and where they're going to be, because they're able to do both the short and the long game. and they've been able to maintain that since half.
We may not get to 15, but Chaos is now running out of time. 80-minute hard cap, and we're at the 67:48 mark. So time isn't on their side either. They've got to get a couple of quick ones to stay in this.
That's right. We talked about having lots of game left at half, but that is starting to go away now for them.
Nine of the 12 goals scored by Anchor by the female members of the team. Great players and just an incredible amount of versatility by these athletes.
Absolutely, and you know, with this new Rule A where there is equal playing time for the men and the women on the team, having and recognizing your women as contributors on the field is really important, and Anchor has obviously done a really good job of doing that.
And a great pull here. Takes TJ Reeds back into his own end zone. Thomas Black moves it down. Disc is grabbed. Reeds maintains possession. Little flip. And a long huck. We said they needed to get one quick. Savage can't hang on. Great defense there by number 44, Travis Foster. Just enough to break Andrew Savage's concentration.
And again, we're seeing the disc go into that same back corner where the wind is a little bit swirly and making it really unpredictable to read and giving the defense an opportunity to get in position, and that's exactly what happened there.
And another injury here, and I think it's number 21, Gavin Gray.
Got it on 2.
No, it's number 29, Adam Paulus, who is slow getting to his feet.
I had it on
So he'll go off, and Anchor will get the disc back in their own end zone. It's Chris Gordon. 10 minutes left in this one. 12-7 Anchor. Long huck for Evan Mercer. Can't come down with it. So Chaos gets another opportunity here, and now another discussion. Let's see if we can get another look and see exactly what the call is. There's the foul there. Called against, I believe it's Louise Guala.
Yeah. That she impeded Carly Francis, sorry. Yeah, that she impeded Carly Francis's ability to catch the disc by bumping into her there at the end.
Well, Chaos disc. Reeds. Or Black. Black. A return feed for Reeds. Reeds for Savage. Stays in bounds. Back out. Reeds. Reeds. Little forehand into the end zone. Sydney Walker with her second goal. Gets Chaos back within 4, but time is not on their side. They need another quick turnover and a quick score to stay in this one.
That is their first point since half, so we'll see if that energizes Chaos now for the next point and if they can come out quickly, get a D, and get another score.
So a timeout called. The observers, they were originally scheduled to have only one timeout per half, plus a floater. But because of the heat and the way it just wears you down, the observers have allowed for 2 timeouts per half, plus the floater, just to give teams an opportunity to stay hydrated and really not injure yourself.
Absolutely.
An absolutely gorgeous weekend here at Ultimate Parks International in Manotick Station, just south of the nation's capital. Tremendous facility, 21 ultimate fields here. And a beautiful huck into the anchor end zone. Gavin Gray, far side. Evan Mercer. Stall count is 10. Low throw. There's the turnover that Chaos needed. Can they capitalize? Balzerson into the end zone. They can. Heather Neary makes it 12-9 with 6.5 to go. This one isn't over yet.
It's not. They got that quick D that we were talking about, and then were able to put it into the end zone quickly, and now they just need to do that again.
So 2 in a row for Chaos as they come back. Anchor leading 12-10. Oh, excuse me, 12-9. 12-9, they're back within 3. And they've got to continue to work quickly here. 6 minutes and counting. Left on the hard cap there, you see number 6, Laurel Dyken in your picture. She's got a couple of goals here. You know that she wants one more just to make it that much more difficult for Chaos to come back.
They're only 3 goals away from being able to win this game, but those 3 goals can be really challenging to get when you're playing against a really good team like Chaos.
This one may not get to 15, but with the 80-minute hard cap, and the Chaos pull by Savage. That will roll out, and it'll come back to the brick. And Anchor being counted off here. And that's Gavin Gray just taking his sweet time. He knows that the cap is fast approaching. Now, oh, in and out of the hands of John Walsh. He had it, but was preparing to stop and look around and then lost it. Just right out of his hands. Nice grab there by Thomas Black. Black flips that one out, and a great D there from Tyler Smith.
Anchor needed to get that one back. That was right in the hands and out of their player, so they needed to put some hard D on to be able to get it back. And a timeout being called by Anchor. Smart call on their part to be able to run the clock down a little bit.
Yeah, that's part of the strategy. And looking at the rosters of some of the teams in this tournament, some of them do have coaches. Here's the last play. John Walsh had it, dropped it, and then came back, and a great defensive play by Tyler Smith got Anchor the defense, got Anchor the defense they needed, and now they are taking their 90-second timeout, which will eat up more of the clock as we very quickly approach that 80-minute hard cap established by the tournament organizers for these finals.
That's right. It also gives Anchor the opportunity to set up on the field in a way that they want to in order to try and perhaps execute a play or generate some offense and momentum going forwards.
So it will be Anchor's disc to start things off here once again after the 90-second timeout. 3 minutes exactly left to go here in this mixed final, and it's been a seesaw battle between Chaos. They led for the first 15-20 minutes, led by 3, as much as 3. Anchor comes back, has a great second part of that first half, and now Chaos forces Anchor into a defensive posture once again. Thomas Black fouled by Gavin Gray. Disc is touched. Time is in. Little floater. Great layout there by Reeds. Reeds looking deep. Looking deep. Will the disc settle down? No, it got away from Sydney Walker looking for the hat trick. She couldn't come down with it, and Anchor's going to take their sweet time coming back.
Yep, it's in Anchor's best interest right now to just take as much time as they have without being called for a delay of game, but take the time that they have to be able to put the disc back into play. Make sure that time continues to be on their side.
Little flip. Nice grab there by Tyler Smith, and a great positioning there by Smith to get his body between the disc and the defender. Smith tries to lay out. He's forced back. TJ Reeds now. They got to get something going quickly. There's the huck. Looking deep. Into the hands of number 23, Diana Spataru. She gets a goal, and it would be in Chaos's best interest to... Have they called it? Are they at the 80-minute mark? Or is this just another timeout?
I think that this is just another timeout. That Chaos does look like they're preparing their next line to go out.
Okay. So now it's 12-10.
Chaos has been able to capitalize on those mistakes that Anchor has been making.
And there's Spataro just waiting for it, kind of like playing center field. Just waiting for it to come down, but Chaos has to get another great defensive set out of their 7 here, and we're 16 seconds away on our clock, but the only clock that really matters is on the wrist of observer Sandra Hansen.
And she should signal us there once we know that we are in time cap. Regardless of if we go into time cap before the pull, this point does have to be played. As soon as a point ends, the next point is considered to have started, so we will be finishing this point out.
So this should be the final one of this game. Rear Hunt in his own end zone. In some trouble. And
we have a pick call on the field.
We are well past the 80-minute mark at this point. Trainer. Tanis Trainer. Rear Hunt goes back. Balzerson all over him. Long, huck, deep. Great job by Tyler Smith to come down with it. Smith flips that one out for Gordon. Chris Gordon. Rear Hunt. Hunt. Dyken. Oral Dyken sends that one to the line. It's knocked down.
There was a call on the play there. Looks like she was bumped and lost possession as a result.
Well, they're letting them continue to play. Rear Hunt. Low shot right in there. And there's the goal for Kat Fraser, number 2 of the game. And that'll do it. A 13-10 victory. And Anchor from Halifax, Nova Scotia is the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Tournament Mixed Champions.
Great game between both of these teams, able to come back from being down, playing with depth from their roster, using their women well.
Anchor did a phenomenal job of evening things out. And as the ratio switched from 4 women to 4 women, 3 men, they do this, and it seems to work very well. And full marks to Anchor today for overcoming early adversity and then coming back and finishing strong with that final goal, that the second of the game by Kat Fraser. And Anchor are the champions. Any final thoughts, Terry Lynn Belanger?
This just makes me so excited to be able to look forward to Nationals in August, knowing that these two teams are coming out of this last tournament, that they'll see each other with such a tight match, and it's just a great show of Canadian Ultimate.
Anchor from Halifax, Nova Scotia, your mixed champions here at the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Tournament. For Terry Lynn Belanger and our entire Rogers TV crew, I'm Dan Mooney. Thanks so much for the company. So long from Ultimate Parks International.